Everything changes. They're almost in a completely different world.
Isabel Tom spent years working with seniors, from fitness to short-term rehab to hospice care. And while she says the care was exceptional, she quickly realized she could never send her Chinese grandparents there.
They would not enjoy it. They would not benefit from it. There are just too many differences.
Stark differences, she says, between what an American senior care facility offers and what she feels her elders need to live a comfortable life.
I remember when my grandma, she went to the hospital, there was a huge communication piece that became an issue.
And it's not just the language barrier, Tom says, it's the potential loneliness, the culture, and food.
Having food that they're familiar with is something that emotionally brought them comfort.
Despite the U.S. Census finding Asian Americans as one of the fastest growing groups of ethnic elders, Tom says there's a scarcity in resources for them. A 2020 AARP study found Asian American caregivers more often reported caring for a parent than whites and African Americans. And between 2015 and 2020, there was a rise in the number of Asian Americans who felt like they had no choice in their caregiving role. Other races did not report much of a change in those 5 years.
Why do you think it's so different between the Asian American household or the Asian household and American household?
I think there's a focus in America on your own needs, but when it comes to growing up in an Asian American family, like anytime we make a decision, it's not really about us.
In 2009, after her grandfather suffered a stroke, Tom scrambled to find a group home that focused on Asian care. She found just 2 in all of Maryland. AARP telling ABC News in a statement, there is a critical need for culturally and linguistically relevant care for AA and HPI elders. The stereotype that all AA and HPIs don't need support is inaccurate. The challenges are invisible due to the lack of research and data on the AA and HPI population. In 2020, Tom came out with her book.
The value of wrinkles, and it goes through a lot of different stages in your life. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So I really just wrote about my experience. A lot of people think that I always loved older adults, but I tell people that I went from grumpy to being grateful for them.
Now Tom is dedicated to assembling helpful guides for the aging Asian population.
When you're able to care for your family well, that's a huge blessing, and that's when it's not a burden.
M. Wynn, ABC News, Bethesda, Maryland.